Welcome everyone to Two Off the Tee. I am your host, Keith Flemming, joined by Ryan Mulvey, who we got a little hangout time last week. Wasn't that nice, Ryan?
Yeah, a little exciting, video calls, traffic, thunderstorms, airplanes. It was exciting. I didn't really get to say bye, and I still felt bad about that, but
I don't know why. I knew you were on a call, bro. It's all good. I think with your medical issues, if you have a teledoc, it's definitely
I get
understandable
a
that you
pass.
have to pay
Okay.
attention. Yeah, for sure.
All right.
So
I feel
no
better.
worries there. But we are Fantasy Six Packs Golf Show. We cover DFS, betting card. We'll do the course preview. But go through a little bit of the golf latest stories first before we get into all that. This week, the CJ Cup, which I still can't get used to not calling it the Byron Nelson, but
Absolutely.
something we did not get to talk about because we didn't have a show. The PGA Tour is trying some different measures to uh, basically speed up pace of play. We've seen this with the measuring devices, which I believe it's like what 4 of the next 6 events on tour. I think the caddies are allowed to use them.
Yeah, which I think is a great move because why not? Like, who cares if they can shoot it with a laser if it makes them play faster?
And the other moves that they're making, this is of course the PGA Tour is not trying this out, but I think the Corn Ferry is where the immediate,
Yeah.
basically on your first warning, you get a 1-shot penalty, which I also think that should be something that is just inherent. I look at it like baseball, baseball lost me. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie. It just with my ADD, ADHD, the games were too long. I just couldn't. You never knew if you were going to be invested into a 2.5, 3 hour ordeal, or if it was going to be like a 6 hour ordeal.
Yeah.
And I got tired of watching guys, scratch their nuts and spit and all that stuff. And with golf, I'm tired of, watching some of these guys just overthink it. And I'm even okay if we eventually get to a point, if they put them on a clock where they get a certain amount of time cards, per round, where it's almost like a timeout, right? Like where they
Yeah.
get maybe 4 or 5 times during a round where they can take longer than whatever the shot clock is. But to me, that's where they need to move to completely fix this is when it's your turn, whether it be a minute, whatever it is, you have this much time, the clock starts, and then there's no questions asked.
Yeah. I mean, it's been needed for a long time, and I think hopefully some of these changes are moving it into the right direction.
I hope so. Did you check out any of last week's team event? Did you get to see any
I
of
watched
that?
a little bit of the final round. That was actually kind of entertaining going back and forth. And of course, your boys made that clutch birdie on 17 and got the dub. So that was cool.
It was Ben Griffin, Andrew Novak, both their first win on tour. I am an idiot. I'll go ahead and say that. I included
Nah.
them in my DraftKings and preview article. And for whatever reason, despite saying that they were the team I felt most comfortable anchoring lineups, I did not include them on my betting card for reasons only Keith Fleming can explain. And I'm Keith. What's up, Liam? I just saw him in the
Yeah.
background. Uh,
He's supposed to be
so,
taking these dogs out. That's what he's supposed to be doing.
well, I mean, come on. You can tell he's living a hard life there, Ryan. Give him a break.
Real tough.
Uh,
Real tough. Uncle
they
Keith sends him all sorts of cards and keeps the addiction alive.
I love it. What did he think of the cards? I didn't
He
even.
loved him. He was excited. He was supposed to be reaching out to you and telling you thank you. But,
He's a kid. That's okay. I don't expect much. What was his favorite? Did he have a favorite out of it?
Liam, what was your favorite out of all the cards you got? He's going to look at him again.
Yeah, this is why I really do feel for Liam. That's exactly the move I would have to make. It's like, well, I don't know. I liked them all, so let me go
Pretty
back
much.
through and decide a little behind the curtains. I have decided to make Ryan's life even
Which one?
harder by getting his son into one of the most expensive hobbies there is, sports cards.
The Nick Bosa relic with the jersey on it.
I thought that he would like that, which is good. I held on to that one for a while for him. I love the jersey cards too.
Yeah.
It is confusing to figure out which ones are, actual game worn. They usually will state that, and on the ones that not, it just says on the back. Obviously, it's still a jersey, which is
Yeah, it's
cool.
still cool.
That's why, I still kind of regret getting rid of it. I had the OBJ catch game jersey patch, which again, it wasn't like a 1-on-1 or anything, but it
Yeah,
was, I
but
think,
still
1 of
a
50.
iconic moment.
And I couldn't believe it when I got it that it was actually from the game, but it was one of those that said this is from
Wow.
that game. And of course, I sold it on eBay
Yeah.
because you got to do that for anybody that's thinking about getting a card club. If you
Sometimes,
don't
yeah.
sell your cards, it is a super expensive hobby. But
Yes, and you gotta find a place to keep all the cards.
you're telling me. My wife is like, you're telling her.
Yeah.
Any other stories on the PGA Tour you want to get into before we get into TPC Craig Ranch and kind of what's going on? Anything that stood out for you?
I did meet Davis Love today.
Oh, where was he at?
So Water Sound's got Shark's Tooth, Camp Creek, and they just recently opened the third course. And they were doing a little local media politician kind of day. So I went over with the chamber and we played the new third course designed by Davis Love. So he hit the ceremonial
Must be
tee shot.
nice.
Well, I haven't played golf since that tournament last year when I hit a few shots with you guys. So the golf side wasn't pretty, and I'm going to need to sleep for 4 days. But other than that, it was cool. The golf course was really neat, and Davis Love's nice to meet him. One of the few guys that I've obviously watched play for a
Where
long
was that at? Where is that at in PC?
It's kind of on the west end. There's two courses in the Shark's Tooth area now. The Shark's Tooth Golf Club, and then the third, and it's called the third because Davis loved the third.
Oh,
so
duh.
they got the Roman numerals all over the merchandise and stuff.
He's
like
a
that.
big guy, right? Like
He
that
is
was the
very.
one
I
that
was
was very
shocked.
striking to me.
He was like
the first time I met
6'4".
him. Yeah.
But you got to have that big frame, long arms to hit the ball a long way like these guys do.
I love the I don't know if you watched the Tiger Woods very good stuff by PGA Tour. I wish they would do more of this before the coverage started. I believe this was 2 weeks ago. They had the Tiger 2000 season.
Ooh.
And it's great. I taped it. I've already watched it like 3 times. A lot of good information, and just nostalgia is a hell of a drug. It was nice to remember how great that season was.
Yeah.
But my favorite part, I think, of it was Davis Love just being like, I was one of the longer guys on tour. This dude's hitting it like 30 yards past me.
Yep.
And oh, by the way, he's a better iron player, chipper, putter, everything else. So I forgot how demoralized the PGA Tour was in 2000 because he had already, obviously won the Masters in 97 by a gazillion shots. He had won one other major, I believe, going into it, right? He won the 99 PGA.
Yeah.
And then
what's that? Is that was the PGA where Sergio hit the shot from behind the tree, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then in 2000, he won 7 times, won 3 majors. This was a stretch where Tiger would win over a 2-year period 4 majors and 15 times. For those that don't understand the dominance, which it is easy to not totally comprehend it if you weren't there in the moment. But it's not just that. In 2000, he won those 3 majors. 2 of the 3, he broke the scoring record and all-time margin victory in them, again, in the same year in back-to-back majors. And then the PGA, to me, is probably the most fun tournament he was ever in. The duel with Bob May, where they went back and forth and just
points, just the iconic moments in his career. Certainly one of those in that tournament for sure.
And I didn't, I always forget that him and May grew up in the same area, and Tiger actually grew up idolizing Bob May. Like he said, he had Jack's records, right, for PGA Tour stuff, but he had Bob May's records for local stuff, which he also wanted to destroy. And I love that Bob May said in it, he did destroy all those records. So, but and May said he remembers hearing about him, even though Tiger, I think, was like 7-8 years younger, just being like, there's this phenom that's, like 9 years old and already playing the basically the tips, but very good stuff from the PGA Tour. I hope they do more stuff like that because it
They
was
need to.
extremely entertaining, something I loved. And it's also something, can we get past, because there was a lot of rain delays this weekend. I would rather see stuff like that
Yes, than previous year.
year.
I
Correct.
I
Yeah.
hate previous year stuff, and they don't always have it up either where it says where it's from, and sometimes you don't know. But yeah, I mean, go do a montage of Tiger, Phil. I mean, that would be awesome. That would be
And I
awesome.
mean, I've even said that if you're gonna do past stuff, why are we doing previous, versions of this event? Let's go back and see the '06 Masters, Phil's versus what, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, especially if it's CBS, I would think. Now, I know with Augusta, they might have to work some things out, but I would assume everything else is free game. And I would rather see that. Again, I'm going to continue to shit on the TV coverage because at times it's awful. Like, it just
yeah.
is. But this week we're back with a non-signature event, Ryan, our
Hmm.
favorites,
Yeah,
the events that don't matter.
they almost feel
Uh,
like filler events at this point.
they do. And it's a shame because this is the Byron Nelson, which for a long time, again, for those that don't know, this was one of the marquee events. This was
It
like the
was, yeah.
Memorial. This was like Bay Hill because Byron Nelson was also an icon and legend in the game of golf. Unfortunately, and this is life. He's died, and so that's taken a lot of pill. It's something I actually worry about, like eventually with Bay Hill and Arnie's tournament, same deal. That the one good thing Arnie's tournament has is Bay Hill is such an iconic golf course that I think that it will live on, even when people have kind of forgot who Arnold Palmer is. That's just a fact of life. But this has been an event that's been around for forever. It's been the CJ Cup now for 4 years. We've seen some changes to the TPC Craig Ranch around that time, but we have a pretty good 4-year sample of this venue. Par 71, 7,400 yards, long golf course, 10th
Very.
longest on tour, but very wide fairways, eighth widest, basically no hazards, very little, trouble off the tee. The fourth easiest on tour in terms of strokes under par. And the big reason is you can really get at it off the tee. Seventh easiest in strokes gained off the tee, featuring the easiest set of par fours on tour. 21% of the par fours, birdie or better. So that is significant. And second easiest venue on tour to gain strokes on approach, easiest from 150 plus yards. And despite, the average approach at TPC, Craig Ranch becoming from, almost 200 yards, 180 plus, still features the highest birdie to bogey rate on tour, easiest course on tour to gain strokes around the green, 71% scrambling rate for guys off of what you would call like short grass, tight lies. The greens are so easy to putt on. It has only a 3-putt rate of a meager 2.31%. Also, the size of them, very flat and, just average size greens. And players this week, they need to go low all 4 rounds. Especially, I've heard that they've gotten some rain, so it's a little wet conditions, making kind of the one thing that protects this course in the toughest years is wind and firmness. And we may get wind, but it's, from what I understand, pretty wet right now. So having known that, I'm looking for, guys that really bomb it and gain strokes off the tee. I think that's extremely important, especially on a course that there's really no penalty for hitting it a mile. Obviously, again, mid to long iron players is key. And then I'm just looking for guys that make a bunch of birdies and guys who kind of fit this mold of these, this type of venue, which is long course, short rough, short to non-penal rough, not a
Yeah.
lot of trouble, just, bomb and gouge basically.
What do you think, Keith? 25 under, something like that?
I think it's been around that number almost every year since in the last 4, since they've kind of made the renovations to the course. I know
Gotcha.
KH Lee won it like basically at that number, 25 and 26 under. I'm not sure what Jason Day won it at. He may have been just slightly below that, but I guarantee you got to get 20 under or better to win this thing.
Oh yeah,
For sure.
For sure. Yeah, that's a big number. But is it bent grass greens too?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, that's why the putting is always so easy out there too. And if they're going to be wet and not firm, these guys are just going to be sticking it right by the pin. I think a big number is definitely going to be coming up this week.
Any other things that you kind of are looking for about this venue, or key stats, etc.?
Do they have metrics on how far people carry the ball?
Oh yeah, that is on. Unfortunately, we do not have that on the site, and that's probably something I should look into adding eventually. By the way, you can get many of the PGA Tour stats now at Fantasy Six Pack. But they do have carry distance. Yeah, actually, if you go under a player's profile, it'll have driving distance, average carry distance, etc.
Gotcha. Because when you mentioned it being wet and carry distance goes a long way. Oh, no pun intended. I didn't mean to say it like that. But carry distance matters when you're playing a very wet golf course because, a lot of these guys' driving distance, total driving distance, includes a lot of roll on a lot of these very fast and firm golf courses.
Yep. I kept it simple this week. Par 5 scoring is obviously huge at a venue like this. Now, par 4 scoring is as well because, again, it's the easiest par 4s on tour. But I look at that almost that the par 5s are more important because if everybody's kind of feasting on the par 4s, it's going to make getting it done on the par 5s even more important. Yeah. Obviously, strokes gained putting, bent greens, as you were talking about, driving distance. The proximity number, I did 175 plus because it's easy. I really looked honestly at 200 plus with it being wet. I just think that means that it's more likely these guys will have more of kind of that 200-yard number in. Obviously, again, birdies are better, birdie average, whatever you want to, kind of metric. Just how many birdies do they make? And then the course and comp course history. This is not one of the most predictive venues on tour, but it is a venue that we have seen a good bit of people have repeat success. Taylor Pendriff won last year, which kind of fits the mold of guy that hits it a mile, right? Like a streaky putter. Not really that surprising.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, this golf course, it's almost like it's got a certain type of player that's going to do well on it, and I think you can really narrow it down to several guys. Keith, I know we haven't really talked about it yet, but is it Scotty versus the field in this one when it comes to your DK and your betting and all that stuff?
For DK, I think yes, you need to find a way, and there's some guys that I listed on my DFS cheat sheet that I really think you can, go several different ways, but guys 6,500 and below they make it worthwhile to put Scheffler in your lineup. Obviously, with his odds, you can't bet him, but in this week of a field, and the fact that this is, I think, his third time playing it, and he's got a little better each time. Scary, scary news for the rest of the field because I feel like when you get into these venues where there's not a lot of top guys and Scheffler's there, he didn't even have to have a good putting week. He didn't even have to necessarily have an above average putting week. He can just have an average putting week and win this thing because he's such a good ball striker, especially when what we're talking about, strokes gained off the tee and approaches from a long way away.
Absolutely. Do you think too he's like, I got to not that he needs to win, but do you think in his mind he probably feels like he hasn't won in a little bit of time, considering all the other storylines that have been going down, and you think he wants to get another dub before the PGA Championship coming up here in a few weeks?
I mean, my buddy Ricky made a very good point that I don't know if enough has been made about hand injuries are tricky.
Yeah, especially in
and
golf.
When you have it cut like he did, where that's your livelihood. Who knows if there's any nerve damage or whatever. Not saying that that's the case, but I think to your point, the quicker he gets in the winner circle, the better. And we have seen this that, whether it be Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas, like these guys that are at I don't want to say they were exact. Spieth was, at Scheffler's level of winning. He was never at Scheffler's level of golf because Spieth was more smoke and mirrors. But
Yeah.
Rory was, and we
Mhm.
saw how Rory, not only just with the majors, but went through a stretch where he had a hard time winning. Like, golf is a game, and that's why, Tiger and Jack and those guys, even Tiger, right? Like, he won all those events in a short period and then has only won a handful of times since 2013. I know injuries played a part, but it's also just you forget how to do it. I always say he should have won the 2018 Open. Like, he
Yeah, he
should
was right
have. He
there.
had the lead on 10. Old school Tiger would have closed that, but that was
Yeah.
the first time he had been in contention in forever, and he lost it. He played much better, if you remember, in that PGA Championship. And that was why I was so bullish on him going into Augusta, as I was like, look, he's basically, finished top 5 in back-to-back majors. Now he's getting to the course that he could play blindfolded. Look out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's golf in a nutshell too. Like, these guys win in bunches because when you win, you know how to win, and there's something to be said for knowing how to win, like you were just talking about. And the longer you go, if you win 3 or 4 in a year, and then you're like, oh, I should be winning more often, and then 2, 3, 4 years goes by and you're not winning anything, it's so mental. But and Scotty's a small sample size because he playing really good earlier this year. He's still playing good. He just hadn't won one a little bit for Scotty.
Because when was his last win? He's like,
because
he won the Tour Championship last year, right?
Yeah, for some reason I thought he won one this year, but maybe he hasn't. Has he not won one this year?
Because I thought he came back from the injury and has not won since he has. I could be wrong. Scheffler is Scheffler, but you think about, like, Rory's already got 3 wins. That's 3 of the big events right there.
Yeah. Let's see. Where's my mouse? There it is. All right.
Because I'm curious now.
Me too. For some reason, I felt like he did, but I think you're right. Tour Championship was his last victory on the PGA Tour. When he's got 13 wins, he's only been doing this for, 7, 8 years, something like that.
Well, what did we talk about with JT? With his win, he became like just I think it's the 16th golfer ever by the age of 32 to have multiple majors, 16 wins, it's like the 8th golfer. So, it's it's so much harder than you think. Even JT at 32 is still so far ahead of 99% of golfers. And again, to your point with Scheffler, like, he's literally only been on the tour a few years and he's just cruising. A couple of quick trends that are not trends, but just stats, actually, we'll say. So in this field, there is, where is it? There's 5 guys who are top 40 in irons, putting, and birdie percentage. It's Scheffler, Ryan Gerard, Jake Knapp, Lee Hodges, Davis Riley. That's a small list. And then there's only 9 guys that are above average in strokes gained approach, proximity from 200 plus yards, birdies or better gain, strokes gained putting, and comp course history. They are Scotty Scheffler, Jake Knapp, Matt Schmid, Joe Highsmith, I think withdrew, Ryan Gerard, Nikolai Hogard, Sam Ryder, Ben Griffin, Jordan Spieth. And then above average in all the key stats that I was looking at this week, which there was 10 of them: Scotty Scheffler, Siwoo Kim, Schmid, Highsmith, Zalatoris, Gerard, Pendriff, Griffin, and Jordan Spieth again. So those are the guys that stand out the most in the terms of the stats that we're looking at. That doesn't mean those are the only guys that we're going to be getting into. But is there any other, points you want to make about the course, key stats, etc., before we get into some of these DFS and betting plays?
I mean, it's just like you said, there used to be so much history, and they've been renovating this whole
Mm-hmm.
property for it seems like several years now. And sometimes when they make these little renovation tweaks to golf courses, it'll affect some of the guys that have been playing there for a long time because you kind of get used to way certain things look, certain bounces, the different feel of these different properties and golf courses. So, something to think about when you're betting. I heard you were talking about some of these guys that fit those trends, and it kind of follows right along with the top 10 guys according to the betting odds because it
Mm-hmm.
drops off drastically off after Scotty Scheffler and then even Jordan Spieth, who's plus 1,800 right now.
Absolutely. Let's start with just some DFS DraftKings plays. Again, I think that you absolutely should have Scotty in cash game lineups this week. And I say that mainly because there's real value under 7K. Some of those guys that I've been looking at, Chad Ramey's playing really well. He's 6,900. Our boy Poke Geiter, however you say his name, the South African, he's 6,800. Anytime I see a course like this where you can bomb it off the tee, very little penalty, I immediately think of him. Carson Young's another guy at 6,700. But I do like these three guys, 6,500 and below, and that's why I think Scheffler and cash game lineups is a must. Kevin Tway, 6,500. He played last week in the team event, played really well on Saturday in the best ball, made 6 birdies. He has the last 2 years at this event finished 11th in 2023, 9th in 2024. So obviously he's comfortable in this venue. Again, he doesn't have a lot of starts this year because he's kind of lost his full status, but historically, very good iron player, very good long iron player, very good on the greens. I think he's a good value. Harrison Endicott, who is the Australian, he's 6,200. Another guy that is trying to get back to status on the PGA Tour. He fits a lot of the build with his game. And then I'm also okay with throwing, Noah Kent in a lineup here and there. The junior from Florida who was the US Am
Yeah.
runner up. This is his third PGA start. I know he's missed the cut in the first two, but when you've made 3 PGA starts in 2 months, he's got to be getting more comfortable with each one of them. This is by far the weakest field he's played in. So I think there's a lot of opportunity there. The other guys that again have multiple top 20s that I listed in horses for courses, and I'll get into some of like the values or people we really like this week. Spieth 10-5, Byung Hun An is 9,700. Seamus Powers is 8,000. Joseph Brandlett 6,700, and Ryan Palmer 6K. Who Palmer I don't know if I can trust him with his recent form because he even struggled in the last 2 Texas events. Which typically, if Palmer was in Texas, you could just sign him up no matter what his form is. I don't know if I could trust him this week, but he does have 2. Like all those guys have multiple top 20s in the last 4 years. So, who are some of your favorite guys just for DFS DraftKings this week?
On DFS, I kind of went the different route, and I didn't do Scheffler, but I kind of went with a lot of these guys that you were talking about. I anchoring my lineup. My highest expense was Ben Griffin.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he's in great form. He kind of fits the mold, like you were talking about. And then I really like Jacob Bridgman too. He's obviously in great form too. He's made 12 out of 19 cuts. He's had a couple top tens, and he's right up there. I think 50-1 right now on the betting odds. And then Kurt Kitayama coming off a decent pairing tournament last week. Jake Knapp, like you said, and then Seamus Power as well. And then also I don't know how to pronounce his name, but I'm going to give it a whirl. Sune. Hisatu Sune. He played in the tournament last week, but at 8,300, he's having a good year on the tour. I dropped him in there as well. So those are some of the guys I'm looking at on the DFS side of things, and kind of following your lead there. A lot of these guys kind of fit that mold for having a good week at the CJ Cup at the TPC Craig Ranch. Still tough to not say the Byron Nelson.
Right. I really like and have a lot of exposure to the guys in the values lineup. Stefan Yager, multiple top 20s at this venue. Somebody could have included in the horses for courses, but at 9,300, he feels like a steal. It's a guy that always does well on big golf courses. And again, I've talked about this all year. His like game on and around the greens is just so much better. He's currently top 40 in both strokes gained around the green and strokes gained on them. Jake Knapp, 8,400, like one of my favorite bets. We'll get into that in just a minute. But I mean, again, the minute I hear course that you can bomb it off the tee,
he's like the first guy that comes to mind.
He's the first guy that comes to my mind, and he feels at 8,400 to me like a real discount. Ryan Gerard is slightly more expensive. He's 8,600, but again, just we talked about, those lists of, the small list of guys. He's on both. So he obviously fits what you need to do at this venue. Eric Cole at 8,100 is a guy
I hadn't
that
heard
is
you say his name in a while.
right, like one of my favorite guys a few years ago, and I just had such high hopes, and it has not worked out. But he is trending now back in the right direction, finally. And I mean, I say finally because it was a rough year, but he is playing really good golf. I think he's a value again in a weak field. Our boy Gary Woodland, 7,400. Another guy starting to play well. Had a runner-up finish in Texas just a couple of weeks ago. Obviously is okay, playing in those conditions. Now, he hadn't played in this event since 2017, so that makes me a little nervous. But I just, again, big golf course. He's a ball striker, great long iron player. And then I'll probably butcher his name, but that's kind of my stick. Sammy Valmaki, 7,300, is playing incredible golf. He's another guy that can just mash the ball. The first place I saw him was the Mexico Open, I believe 2 years ago, when he was in contention. Another golf course that you can just pound it off the tee. It's very long. There's very little, penal rough or anything anywhere. And I really do like him on DK at 7,300. I believe he's finished top 20 in 3 straight starts. So he's playing very well. That's obviously good as well. Any other DFS plays? And we can talk some of our favorite bets.
Let's dive into some betting action. That's more my my wheelhouse anyway.
It's definitely what I like because
it's your wheelhouse too, because you've been on a heater.
Well, let's keep it up. Again, 3 of the last 4, the betting cheat sheet, which you can find on Fantasy Six Pack, included the winner. I love that. Should have been 4 or 5. You freaking moron. We'll have to go individual tournament because dumbass, despite hyping up Gerard and those guys, did he put them on his betting card? Nope. Not even a prop bet or nothing. I'm an idiot. I don't know what was going on. I think I just had a huge brain fart last week, but I do not like any of the low odd guys. Like we talked about it, right? Like with Scheffler, who I'm all about Scheffler, but you can't bet him at plus 280.
No.
I don't even see him if he gets off to a bad start. You know what I mean? Like his odds getting more than maybe 5-6 to 1 in this field. But because of him, I don't really like anybody all the way until we get to 40 to 1 to win.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, and that's what's so tough about these things. I mean, I think Hard Rock's a little more. It's at plus 300, but still 3 to 1 to win. And the live odds with him, if he shoots 2, 3, 4, 5 under in the first day, they may actually go down. I've seen him be, 3 or 4 off the lead, and his live odds actually get better than when they started the tournament. So, yeah, I don't know. And Jordan Spieth at 18 to 1, that's not enough for me to take a shot on the kid. I mean, he's not a kid anymore, but he just hasn't got back to that Jordan Spieth form that we know.
Are you saying Scotty's going to get to that point like in member guests or members when you have the really good stick that they're like giving away strokes on
Yeah,
par
yeah.
threes. You know
Yep.
what I
On
mean?
the easiest
Where
holes, you're giving one up.
yeah, it's
Yep, you
like
got the little
Scheffler to win is minus 225. I'm gonna be like, this is gonna make me throw up.
yeah, I don't if he starts going in the minuses, then things are going crazy and he's winning everything because that would be nuts.
I mean, this is the week though that it could happen if he gets off to
True.
a fast start, like the live odds, right?
Yeah,
Like,
and he's a Texas guy. He loves being out there.
um, who is the first person you like in that 40 range?
In the 40 range specifically, either Ben Griffin or Stefan Yager.
That's yep.
No doubt about those two
Griffin's
guys.
another Texas guy, right?
Yeah, yep. And he's been playing fantastic golf. So I'd probably lean to him. If I had to pick one or the other, I'd probably go with Griffin.
Well, see, that just shows we're going to disagree a little bit here because I would go with Jogger.
You're just a big Yager guy.
I am. He also, though, won, we know, at Memorial Park.
True.
So he's obviously comfortable playing in Texas. Again, this guy is currently top 36, strokes gained putting, strokes gained around the green, strokes gained off the tee. So that should suit him well.
Old.
Top 30 in birdie average, which obviously that's great. And then, I mean, he's just playing really good golf. 30th or better 4 of his last 5 PGA starts. And then, like I said, he's 20th and 11th in his last 2 starts here. So he likes this venue. And he was somebody that actually, if you look just at my top 10 comp course model, he was also in that. So I love y'all. I'm not going to, like, seriously, I like Griffin a lot too. This week, he makes to me a ton of sense. The next guy for me is just Knapp. Like, I feel like at 55-1,
yeah,
that's stealing. This dude is playing well, 27th or better, 5 of his last 7.
11-1, 2 to top 5. That's pretty. That's pretty.
I might have missed that. Or is that Hard Rock odds?
That's
just Hard Rock odds because I got 9-1 on DK because I would love to see that 11-1.
I'm gonna go ahead and bet that one while we're talking.
And then his only start here 8th. So obviously he came to this venue and goes, "Yeah, me like you this." And
guys just love certain types of golf courses.
Remember, he's one of the 5 guys in this field, top 40 in irons, putting, and birdie or better, which it really is crazy that he is now one of the top 40 in putting. That's, I think, says a lot to how this guy's, ceiling, I think, continues to change. And then he is, top 10s and birdie or betters in the field, but he's above average in strokes gained approach, 200 plus yard approaches, strokes gained putting, and comp course, which again, there was, I think, 9 guys on that list. So he hits both of the, small lists of players for this 5th and 9. I just feel like 55-1. Again, he's got an 8th place finish here. And I agree with you. I have him at 9-1 to top 5 as well. I just, man, Knapp, sign me up.
Yeah, and he's got such a great apparel company, the Original Penguin. That's just awesome.
Yes.
So that gives a little icing on top of the cake as well.
Who else you kind of got in this range?
Some of the guys I have in my DK lineup, Seamus Power and Ryo. I'm going to do it one more time.
Great track record at this venue, Power.
Yeah, and I just like saying Seamus. And then Hisatsune, I think I got it that time.
Rio?
Yeah.
I've got him on my card as well. Like,
nice.
What is he at on Hard Rock? 65, or is he a little bit lower?
Well, he's 11-1 to top 10 or top 5, so I like that one as well. He is 60-1 on Hard Rock.
Yeah, 65-1 on DK. I like betting him to win. I mean, 18th or better, 3 of his last 4. This is a guy that finished 13th in his only start at this event. So again, feels comfortable here. And just a ball striker, man. He's top 40.
If he doesn't win this one, he's going to win one this year.
Right? Like, see, what tournament was he recently? Like, he was right there, and he kind of stumbled and just felt like that he hasn't been there enough.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that's part of golf for these guys that have not won on tour.
Yeah, you got to be there, have the loss, so that next time you're there, you're like, all right, I've already been here and lost it. Now I'm going to be here and win it.
Completely agree. I've got Gerard and Cole in this 60
Yeah.
range as well. Again, Gerard just fits too many of the stats that I was looking at. He's 60-1. I also like him 4-1 to top 10. Cole, I have across the board 65-1 to win. He is 10-1 to top 5, plus 450 to top 10. I know 23rd in his only start. That's not going to, break the door down, but playing really well. He's been 18th or better 3 of his last 4, finished 26 in the other event. So, I mean, like, he's basically for the last month been right there. He's 10th in total birdies, but the big one for me over the last month, 63 birdies in his last 4 tournaments. So he's starting to make birdies in bunches, and he is such a streaky putter. He's been that even in his, breakout year, that if he gets on that roll with the putter, which I think is very possible, he could, I think win this. Like, Cole has proven that he can win and be in contention in these tournaments. I know it's been a minute, but I think it's only a matter of time before he at least has like a top 3 finish or a win this season on tour. And this is the kind of event that I like for him. Don't like him so much, having the firepower to win these signature or big, the deep field events, but something like this where it's not really a very, strong field, absolutely think he could do it.
Yeah, no, I mean he's been kind of there a bunch, and at some point your boy is going to get that win.
Any other guys you like? Because the only other guy I've got bet to win, and I've obviously got some more props, is just our boy Woodland. He's 90-1.
Yeah, great.
Again, that
with Gary.
feels like a value. This year, just in Texas alone, 2nd and 40th, so feels confident. He's getting, to me, back there in the sense that he's top 50 strokes gained off the tee. He's still an excellent iron player from 175 to 200, 200 plus. And then the big thing, 11th in driving distance. He is back, like, moving it. And we just talked about that's a huge deal. So I do have him at 90-1 to win. You can also get him, I feel like, a value 6-1 to top 10. I think that's pretty good odds for, again, a weak field and somebody who enters this event playing really well as of late. I like that. Do you have any other kind of like long shots you like to win or players that you want to mention?
I'm just a big fan of Gary Woodland as well. What about your boy Alejandro Tosti? I know you like to get him.
I considered him. He's in a little bad form, but this is a perfect venue for him to get out of it because he's, again, played very well at Mexican Open, which I think that is absolutely a comp with the, just drive it far, no real, pin or rough or hazards or anything. He is intriguing to me also in DFS because he's not like outrageously priced on there either.
Yeah, so if you're getting Scheffler in there, you could probably work him in there too.
Prop bets that we have not talked about. The first one for me, because that, again, Jaeger, Knapp, Cole, those are the top 5s that I really like. Top 10, Mackenzie Hughes plus 360. 14th of this event in 2023. Comes in back-to-back top 10s. He's a guy that gets so hot with the putter, man. He's such a good putter. But, I mean, he can get, like, uber hot with the putter. And it feels like that if he just has a good ball striking tournament with the way he is playing right now, I mean, you're getting really good odds. Plus 360 for him, just the top 10. I like that.
Yeah, the top 10 is attractive this week. There's a lot of good guys in that 8-1, 10-1 kind of range that you could really feel, making that happen. And you kind of, if you can kind of live in that same grouping of guys that you've been talking about, kind of in your winners, your 5s, your 10s, probably not your 20s, but
Cole plus 450. He's on my betting card top 10. Woodland again 6-1. Gerard's 4-1. And this kind of field, that feels to me like almost more of a value than the winning bets. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Use more units on those bad boys. Yeah, I actually Hard Rock did me solid on the top tens because Woodland's 8-1.
Wow.
He was only 75-1 to win, where you said you got him at 90-1. So yeah, I got Joel Damon. Is he on your radar at all this week?
He is such a good long iron player. He's not, but he should be. He is,
He's
and
8-1
obviously he
to top
plays
10.
well in the win. We know that because of his record in Puerto Rico. And he's literally, I think, one of the top 10 players on tour from like 175, 200 yards further out with irons. So, I mean, what'd you say was just the top 10?
He is 8-1 as well to
Yeah,
top
you
10.
got to love that. And then again, like Val Mackey, who I think it's Sammy Val Mackey.
Yeah, it is Sammy Valmackey or Valley Mackey.
He is 7-1 to top 10, 3-1 to top 20. Weak field. This is a guy that has 3 straight top 18 finishes. So enters playing very well. He's obviously extremely comfortable in Texas. Just this year, a 12th and a 4th place finish in Texas. So that's not going to be any concern to him. And he is 8th in strokes gained approach, 14th strokes gained putting. That sounds like a guy who can play well here. And oh, by the way, he's also a really good long iron player who can move it off the tee on a golf course. He's going to be able to just pound driver. I really like him this week. Like, I almost bet him to win, but ended up ultimately not. I think he's like 110 or 120 to 1 to win. I figured I'd rather, spend units on him to top 10, top 20 and just have him in a lot of DK lineups. But you could have twisted my arm and put him to win too with the way he's playing. And again, don't you believe that Texas is one of those states that people just either play well there or don't? It seems like.
Yeah, no, people. It's something. I think it's the weather. I think it's the wind. Certain areas of Texas obviously can be very flat. Not a lot of undulation.
Depending what country you're from, you get deported if you're not careful. So
that's true. That's Florida too, though. That's not just Texas. But anyway,
Touche.
Yeah, absolutely.
The only other ones that I have, again, I feel like Kevin Tway at plus 750 to top 20, 11th and 9th the last 2 years. You're getting plus 750. He got a good tune-up last week with Collie in the team event. He needs this because, again, he does not have PGA Tour status right now. So for somebody like Kevin Tway, who obviously his dad played on tour, like he's a constant, professional. And his game is typically long irons and putting. That's always been what he excels at. Again, that plays very well here. And then I also like Noah Kent at 7-1 to top 40. Why not? Again,
yeah.
That's basically
20,
almost just making the cut, right? Like, and
yeah.
it's 7-1 to top 40. Sign me up.
Absolutely. I wish I had that option. Hard Rock only goes to 20.
Do they only go to 20?
Yeah.
What is his top 20 odds there?
Let me find him.
Probably pretty high, I would assume, because I think his top 20 odds on DK were like almost like 16 or 17 to 1.
Gotcha. Let me find Ken. It's gonna take me a second. I can't see.
He's gonna be all the way at the bottom, I promise you, because he was like, there's another PG or guy that is an amateur. What is his name? That he is making like, I think his 3rd start at this event. He was on the PGA Tour briefly. He's now, I think, a trainer, I was reading, but he apparently can move it. Then that's what he trains, is like for speed.
Yeah.
In golf. What is his name? Bobby Massey.
Yes. Yep.
And he's 6K on DK. And a lot of people are talking about him because he has experience at this venue, even though he's missed the cut both times.
He's played 30-1 to top 20.
Yeah.
I can't find Kent. I don't know why. I'm probably just skipping over him, but he's not at the bottom. Brandon Matthews is at 40-1 along with Gabe Reynolds. And then it goes to 30-1 with old Bobby Massey. I feel like we're in this point right now with the PGA Tour and the players on it. We're like having this shift from like it's like a new decade shift. Like now we got all these new names that are emerging, and we're kind of leaving some of the names, the Spieth, the Fowlers, those guys. Well, obviously JT got his playoff win last week, but or a couple weeks ago, so that was exciting. But it feels like we're moving into this new era of PGA Tour players. What do you think?
Well, definitely. Chris Kim from England is 17 years old and
That's
starting
wild.
in the field. Who is his parents? He's got golfing
That's like Blades
parents.
Brown.
Hold on. Let me look it up because it's not, it's like, parents. Let's see here. So it is Kyung Kim. He was a professional golfer who played on the LPGA tour. Ji Hyun Soo. I think she won majors and stuff back in the day, right?
I sure.
And his
All their
dad
names are so similar.
also played, but this kid is 17 years old. He made his PGA tour last year as a 16-year-old. Where did he make that? I was reading up on him. He's from England. I was reading up on it. Oh, is at this event last year.
Huh.
But he's won the RNA Boys Amateur Championship, the European Boys Individual Championship, and the McGregor Trophy. He went undefeated the Junior Ryder Cup, including beating Miles Russell 5-4. Who he I think tied 20th on the Corn Ferry last year. This kid's got a lot of talent. So if you're looking for somebody fun for DFS and your betting cards, Chris Kim.
Yeah, you're
6,100.
Right. Miles Russell, Blades Brown, Luke Clanton, Nick Dunlap, Koivu, all these young guys that are coming up at a young age, and it's pretty crazy to see them having so much success at that age. I mean, Blades Brown Miles Russell's only 16 years old as well, born in 2008. That's crazy.
Screw these guys. 2008.
And
That was when Tiger won the U.S. Open on one leg. That's ridiculous.
Yep.
All right. Any more bets you want to get into? We'll do the worst golfing habits and then get out of here.
Yeah, I'm good. It's been a long day.
Has it? A lot of sports. How did everybody do? I meant to ask you.
Good. I mean, volleyball was kind of one-sided, but obviously I played golf this morning. I hadn't done that in over a year.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. You probably are gassed. All right. So, since you played today, any things that you noticed while you're out there that just drove you crazy?
I was actually thinking about that. This may not be one anybody cares about but me. Where you leave rakes after you exit the bunker. What's your opinion, Keith, on where they're supposed to be?
So I look at it that you never put it in the front of the lip because that could always hit and go back in. To me, they should always be, if they're up near the front, to the sides. And then there should be, say if there's 4 for a bunker, I would have 1 up top on the right, 1 up top on the left, and then 2 on the bottom that actually, if anything, are going to help your ball right by stopping it from going in the bunker. My biggest pet peeve is leaving them in the bunker.
That's what I was getting to.
And then leaving them on the lip of the bunker where it's very possible it hits it and comes back in.
Yeah, I mean, I think all your rigs should be left outside of the bunkers.
Great.
Yeah, it's a little more difficult for your maintenance staff, but if they can't stop the mower and get out and move a rake, I don't know what to tell them. And because also, if you leave those rakes in the bunkers where the ball stops, if it stops on a lip on that rake, you've got to move the rake, replace the ball where it was on the lip. So, in my opinion, rakes are supposed to be left outside of the bunker. And I like your kind of strategic placement there too as well. But so that's one I kind of noticed today. And I was like, these rakes should really be, because there's a mess of bunkers on that golf course. And it was just a maintenance nightmare.
Davis loves the bunkers, man.
He does. Undulated greens and bunkers.
Did you ever play Kinderlu in Valdosta?
I did. I have never played Kinderlu.
That is a Davis Love course that is like 8,100 yards from the tips.
I played a lot of Davis Love courses. There was one not too far away from where I was living in South Carolina, in 96, South Carolina. And then, of course, 2 up there in Myrtle Beach at Barefoot. There's 4 courses there. And
Yeah, I
one of them
played
they
the
say was
love course. I played all
yeah,
4 of them, but I played the
yeah,
love course. I mean, to his credit, him and his brother do a great job
yeah. Mark was
designing
there today
courses.
too. Yeah, it was pretty cool. They did a good job with this one. It's just really big and a lot of holes that are back to back with shared fairways. So
Ooh.
a little dangerous, but just a lot of
Keep your
acreage.
head on a swivel is what you're
keep
saying?
keep your head on a swivel for sure. Because if you hit the ball a little bit from left to right, you're going to be in the other fairways. Which, at the same time, if there's nobody coming, is great because you still got a great angle to the green because it's a true link style golf course. All the native areas haven't grown up yet, so it'll get a little bit tougher as it gets more mature. But it's certainly a Davis Love course at its finest.
I do like the bunkers. I'm going to give you one and then we can decide which one you want. This is a two-parter because it goes both ways.
Okay.
The first is, can we please wait for people to get in their carts and get out of the way before you fire? It drives me crazy when you walk over there, you're putting your clubs up, you're getting in the cart. So you're literally about to leave and you get a ball, flying over your head or at you. Because, I mean, and I'm not trying to be a dick, but you know how likely it is
Yeah.
that you hit the ball straight. And like, it kills me when because you've been watching these people behind you all day, like these guys have no idea where their ball is going and they can't wait that extra, 10 seconds for you
That's
to
the thing.
ride off.
Or just wait till you see the carts go in motion. By the time your ball gets there, they'll be
Exactly.
gone. They'll be gone. Yeah, I won't ever hit because I get too worried that I'm gonna miss it.
I'm always
Hit
terrified I'm going to
somebody.
hit somebody,
Yeah,
always.
I was like, you gotta
But it is a
move.
two-parter that I also hate. My dad, Chuck, with his routine. The people that take forever once they get to the cart, putting everything in or whatever to ride off. Because it's like, and I get into this with my dad all the time. He's got a very specific routine, very specific. If he's got a wedge and a putter, he's gonna like clean the wedge in the club cleaner, towel it. He's got the individual, spot. So put the wedge in there. Then he's gonna take the putter, put the head cover in it, put it in there, and then there's a 50% chance, knowing my dad, he might need another beer, and then he unzips the Budweiser and grabs a Budweiser as he's getting ready to ride off. Because as he says, I need a beer for the ride. Which I respect it, but it's like, Chuck, can we not do any of this stuff on the next tee or
Well,
on the
yeah,
ride? Can you
just
not take your wedge and
pick the
putter,
clubs, get the
sit in the
cart.
cart, take
Yeah,
off? It just, oh my
that'd be too
God.
efficient. That'd be too efficient.
And 18's a nightmare because then his routine includes putting up his
Oh yeah.
tees, his ball mark,
Wait till you get
everything.
off the golf course to put
And
all your
I'm
stuff in.
like,
That's a
Chuck,
good
we're
one.
going to get killed because he always seems to park the cart in front. So you're kind of like stuck behind him,
Mhm.
And me and Ricky are like, we're about to die because Chuck's routine is going to take 5 minutes before we leave. And at that point, it's like what I say. In those situations, the people behind, to me, are justified for
Yeah.
hitting if you're taking
Yeah.
forever. However, if they're not, just give it an extra second because I hate it when you got balls flying at your head when you're literally quickly getting in the cart and taking off. They just
Yeah.
couldn't wait that extra, 30 seconds or whatever.
Well, I think one kind of came out of that too. When you finish your round of golf, don't get your watch, your wallet, your keys out and that until you go off the hole and then do all that stuff. I
Add up the
see.
scorecard for God's
Yeah, I
sakes.
see that all the time.
Oh
That's
my
just
God, it's awful.
ridiculous, ridiculous. So
So
I
which
think
do we want to do? Because I like both of those.
I think I like yours, and I like the kind of the two-part taking too long, once you get off the green, and then people hitting too quickly before you clear the green. I like those a lot because that's pretty common out there from what I
And it
see.
is. I see it every week, and it's usually my dad. So if you played behind us recently, I apologize.
You got up close and personal with that.
It's he's old, man. As he's getting older, that's one of the
Yeah,
things I'm noticing is his routines are
routines.
getting more specific and longer.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. It's
uh
important.
This has been fun. You can check out Ryan tomorrow, right? Inside Drive.
Yeah, you'll be with us as always on Wednesday. Looking forward to it. Hanging out over there at ESPN Northwest Florida.
And the what studio is it now? The
Golf Plus Studios.
Golf
Which,
Plus. I got to get used to that. So
yeah, it was
the Golf Plus studio. Looking forward to that. And then be sure to check out all the great golf content on Fantasy Six Pack, and then also tons of draft stuff currently on it. The guys have immediately gone to work. Real quickly, how do you feel about your Niners draft?
I mean, they were getting a lot of criticism, but I thought they did great. Shoring up that defensive line a little bit.
First pick, he's going to be such a beast, man.
Exactly. Got good linebackers. We got a good receiver too. I was okay with it. I thought it was good. Now, did other teams do way better? Yeah, absolutely. I think the Giants had a fantastic draft.
Giants had a great draft. Yeah, I'm not sure about Dart, but I overall very good draft. Yeah, even if he's not, that great, I still think they had a good draft.
Well, and they still got Russell and Jameis there now too.
Yep.
I forget Jameis is now a Giant. That's wild. But yeah,
Jameis says, keep cashing them checks. You want to pay me $5 million to hold a clipboard? Sign me up.
Yep, and he's the best motivational speech guy in the NFL. They are fantastic.
And I'm pretty happy with the Falcons draft, which rarely ever happens. But we'll talk more about that tomorrow on the radio show. Be sure you can stream that Facebook, YouTube.
And Twitch. If you do Twitch, I don't know really.
I don't even know how to log on to Twitch, but sure.
I don't know what you call a Twitch user, a Twitcher. I don't know. But you can also download the free mobile app. All you got to do is search 104.3. It'll pop up right there.
That's what I say. Just ESPN Northwest Florida.
Easy to find.
104.3. Check that out. We would appreciate it. They're live every day. It's a little confusing for people like me that are on the East Coast, but it's actually for their time. Right, 12 to 2. Yeah, but 11 to 1 actually for Ryan's time
zone we live in. Yeah, absolutely.
So, but Ryan, I enjoyed it.
Yes, thank you.
Hopefully we have another winning weekend.
Yeah, you've been on fire. Hopefully some of these bets cash again.
Let's go. We'll talk soon. See you, buddy.
Thanks, Keith.